Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. AB here along with Jack. We are the Stream Catchers. Jack, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing real good. How about you?
Feeling good, feeling great. Talking chapter 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. This
Yeah.
episode was a lot more going on than last week.
hmm
So let's just jump into quick hits here real quick, and then we can go from there. How about that?
Let's do it.
Sweet. So we pick up in the present day where Boba Fett and Fennec Shand are interrogating the prisoner they caught in the last episode that admits he was hired by the mayor. They confront the mayor, who says he wasn't the one that sent the assassin. So Boba and Fennec go back to that cantina, and then they're confronted outside by two Hutts, referred to as the twins, along with a black Wookiee named Black Kirsantan. They argue a bit over whose territory Mos Espa is before the Hutts leave. When we go to the flashbacks, the Tuskens are training Boba Fett in their ways, and he helps them fend off another tribe that is transporting spice across the desert via a hover train. Fett and the Tuskens hijack the train. They sort of save the day, I guess. I don't know whether to save the day or not, but the Tuskens will then take in Boba Fett into the tribe. They help him craft one of those staffs, and we
hmm
end on a pretty sweet note. So, what do you think, Jack? Talk to me. How'd you like the episode?
This was a fantastic episode. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that the action scenes were great. I thought the present day stuff was great. I love that I love that they continued both timelines
Yeah,
into this episode. I think that feels like they're going to be doing that the whole show, which I
yeah,
think is a great idea. I think that this episode was a really good payoff for people like us who preferred the flashback stuff over the present day stuff of the first episode.
yeah.
Um, I, I I have no complaints, man. This was a really good episode. I'm really excited to see Boba Fett being a Tusken Raider. I think it's really cool. And he got his costume. He got his costume that was seen in his appearance in Mandalorian, his first appearance.
Yeah, I mean, this episode was much better than chapter one. And I mean, I didn't hate
hmm
chapter one. I enjoyed it, but it was just kind of like, I don't know what's really going on here.
hmm
This was so much better. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the present day stuff was pretty good. I still kind of don't really know where they're going with it, but the flashback stuff with the Tusken Raider, that was
Yeah.
phenomenal storytelling. A lot of Western vibes. You had the whole train hijack,
hmm
seeing him working with the Tusken Raiders and training with them and coming into his own on that end is pretty cool. I like that whole scene where he they give him a lizard. It goes in his nose and he
Yes.
wanders off. It got a
The
lot of
hallucinogenic lizard.
yeah, it got a lot of Black Panther vibes off that ancestral
Oh
plane.
wow. I didn't make that connection, but it's totally there. Wow. God.
Yeah, thought that was a really cool spot. I wonder if they got that influenced by that at all. But man, this was really
Maybe.
cool. And when you talk about the present day stuff, we got to talk about the Huts. We have Huts back in the Star
We
Wars
have
universe. What do you make of the
Yeah.
twins?
Very, very brief appearance by the twins. I don't even know if we got their names separately. We no? Okay.
Just the twins.
Um, I it's exciting that there are other crime lords that he's gonna have to contend with.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be more Huts, but it makes sense since they're on Tatooine. Um, I don't know about you, but I'm still stuck on the assassin and who hired these assassins. How about you?
I want to get to that in a second. I want to stick with the Huts
Okay.
for just a bit.
Yeah. Oh, please.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
it was so well done, I thought, because I wasn't expecting Huts at all. It
hmm
totally makes sense though, right? Because we're back on Tatooine, and it was Jabba's territory. Jabba's territory. It was his territory.
Got territory.
So it totally makes sense, and just the way that it was well, they're in that cantina. You hear the drums, they go outside, and then they just like slowly come around the corner. It's like, there's Huts. All right, cool.
hmm
So that was really well done. I don't really know what to expect from them, and I don't know if that's sort of our. I'm kind of grasping for an antagonist here on the show.
Right.
And so I don't know if they're going to be the antagonist or what's going to happen. It was very coy with what's going on there, but there's definitely a power struggle, and we haven't seen the last of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little eerie how they ended things without any real conflict. They just kind of met, scowled at each other, and then they left. I mean, so it's obviously not over.
Yeah.
What did you give a name for that black-haired Wookiee? What was his name?
His name is Black Kirsantan. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The spelling is Krrsantan. He is obviously a Wookiee that was banished from Kashyyyk. He was first introduced in the comic books that Marvel put out. I don't know if there's a Darth Vader run. There's several other random little runs there. He's heavily involved in those comic book runs. He had a few run-ins with Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine. Hint, hint, for the possible Obi-Wan show.
Interesting.
Not possible Obi-Wan show. The Obi-Wan show is coming out.
Yeah.
He is a bounty hunter. He and Boba have worked together. So when they're having that little face-off, there's sort of like, I don't know, it's an acknowledgement of, I know who you are, man. And
yeah,
I like that tension there. I don't know, I just did a quick Google search on him, so I don't really know a whole lot about his backstory, but I'm excited about
I'm looking forward to seeing him in action. He looks awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, he looks rough. He looks mean. Apparently he's a pretty greedy character. So that's going into this episode. I don't want to say I was sour on this, but it's kind of hard when you're so inundated with Marvel. Marvel's giving us 4 shows a year, 3 or 4 movies a year. There's kind of like a direction that they're going in, and we're getting a bunch of new stuff. And I don't think Star Wars needs to have that volume, but it's like the next shows are all older characters. So it's like, I'm kind of ready for Star Wars to start a new chapter. But this show has done so far a pretty good job of using the old to sort of bring in the new, so to speak.
Right.
So I'm just going to start calling him BK. I'm not going to say this.
BK.
this BK character. I'm excited to see what they do with him.
Yeah, me too. So can we talk about the assassin? Are you ready to talk about that?
Let's talk about the assassin. What do you got?
All right. So he's threatened with his life with the Rancor, and that is the thing that ultimately scares him into saying who sent him, and he says the mayor.
Yeah.
So are you thinking that the Hutts hired them out and told them to say they were working for the mayor? Do you think there was a middleman that hired them, and the middleman said he worked for the mayor? Like, how is this guy gonna lie? I don't know. I'm looking for a missing piece, I think.
I'm with you too. I'm kind of searching like what's really going on here. That was one of the things I wrote down to talk about was, have we seen the last of the mayor? Obviously, one of these dudes is lying. We don't know who, but somebody's on some bullshit. I want to know who's on the BS. So I think it's probably likely that the mayor did hire this guy and is just a straight up liar.
Okay.
Didn't they kill the assassin?
Yes, the mayor's guy did. Yeah, the mayor's like bodyguard or whatever.
So that guy, like, they took care of him right there. So the truth sort of dies with him. I think it's just a little convenient that the mayor tells Boba and Fennec to go to that cantina. They get there and then the Hutts show up
immediately.
So it almost feels like the mayor did hire the Order of the Night Wind, these assassins, and then maybe the mayor is paid off by the Hutts in some way, and maybe that's sort of part of how that goes.
Yeah, the Twi'lek girl that Boba talked to in the cantina. I'm going to call it a cantina. I don't know what else to call these places. He made the comment that she looked really nervous before they found out that the twins got there. I thought that meant that she was expecting them, and that's why she was nervous. So that would fall in line with what you said, because this all kind of seems orchestrated. You know what I mean? Them,
Convenient, yeah.
the twins meeting Boba without them actually having planned to have met. You know, it's like I don't know, because I don't know. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if yeah, it's tough because she it seems like she's sort of in that criminal underworld scene. You know, it sounds like she kind of is clued in on what's going on. I don't know if she knows something or doesn't know something, but she definitely, you know, they made a point to point out that she looks nervous, sounds nervous. Um, gosh, maybe she is. Maybe she is involved with him on some level.
I
Maybe
don't
she was
know.
just.
I don't know.
Maybe she just knew that the Huts were coming, and she was nervous that a brawl was going to break out in front of her cantina or in her cantina.
Maybe if she knew that Boba Fett was, or if she knew that the twins were going to be there, and then she turns around and sees Boba Fett,
Yeah,
she knows that they're going to meet, and there's probably going to be bloodshed in the streets, I guess. I
something
mean,
like that.
yeah. I mean, they brought a gladiator, as Boba Fett called it. So,
Gladiator.
I mean, they definitely thought there was going to be blood in the streets.
Well, the last episode when he and Fennec show up to that cantina and sort of say, "Hey, we're in charge now," she knew of Bib Fortuna, right? She knew that he was sort of the
Yes,
so she's involved somehow in the criminal underworld.
yes,
So I would say that she
um,
probably is privy to something to do with the mayor and the Huts.
yeah,
Probably. They're just not
yeah,
giving us a whole lot here, which is fine.
yeah.
I like the speculation and the what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
but I would like a clue here, here, here
Yeah,
or there.
yeah. Yeah. Well, do you want to travel back to the past? Do you want to talk about the other timeline in this episode?
Let's take her on back.
Let's do it. Let's climb into this back to tank and relive
This was
relive some
seriously this was
Tatooine
seriously
nights.
the best part of the whole thing, and they took up. I mean, I would say 70% of the
Quarters of
episode
the
on this.
episode, like a lot of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
like every bit as much as the present day stuff in the first episode. They just flipped it.
I kept kind of waiting for them to go back to present day, but they just stuck with it. And I'm
Hmm.
glad they did because it sort of fast forwards us to all right, he's established, he's with the Tusken Raiders. So they kind of
Yeah.
took out a chunk of the backstory. And I think that they'll start getting to the meat and potatoes of what that whole deal is. But man, how great was that train scene, man?
Oh man, and I got Fast and Furious vibes. How about you?
I did, yeah. Fast Five,
Yeah.
where yeah, I
Yes.
totally did.
Yeah,
That's
that
awesome.
was a really good scene. I think it took up probably like 5-10 minutes of the episode, so that was a good chunk of just action, just a really good
Yeah.
action sequence. They got to board the train, they got to jump from speeder to speeder. They fought on the top of the train. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's so funny how John Favreau got me to care about Tusken Raiders. Somebody that was
I
always just kind of
know.
like this
In
back
two
character.
episodes.
Yeah. But you got these kids and they're friends with Boba and he's learning how to fight.
Mhm.
He's teaching them how to ride speeders and
Yeah, it's
it's great, man.
awesome.
It's good stuff.
It's awesome. And
Did
so
you
when they do finally take the train over, and then Boba Fett's got all these terms already laid out for these spice runners, and wants him to take it back to his syndicate and see where they're at. I thought that was a good foreshadowing of a leader.
I was gonna say, you know, right before this, he's still a bounty hunter, but this is him
Hmm.
showing natural leadership. And so
Hmm.
this is kind of the beginnings of what we'll see him become in the present day. So that was really well done. And gosh, man, that's been a pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting them to do this with this show and
Hmm.
getting all of this backstory with the Tuscans and seeing him become this leader. That's a really great point because he just sort of at the end of Mando season 2 sits down and we're like, okay, he's taking over. He's never really
Hmm.
shown that. So this is a great way for them to get us to that point, so to speak.
It does. It bridges the gap in a really clever way. I mean, the only thing that we know that's going to happen in that timeline is at some point he has to meet Fennec and save her life, right? And I'm wondering
Yeah.
if they're building up to that sooner rather than later.
I would think that. Yeah, there was part of me thought for a brief second that when the leader of the Pike Syndicate took his mask off, that it would be Finnick.
Well, they had a one of the Tuscans what they showed real close up in the first episode. They like showed every little inch of the Tuscan's mask. I was like, is this going to be Fennec? Is Fennec in
Ooh.
this mask? Is Fennec hiding as a Tuscan? But I don't know. I don't think so anymore.
Yeah, I don't. It's hard because like, what do Tuscan Raiders look like? They just wear the masks.
Yeah. I
So if
imagine they take off the whole thing and they just have a donkey face.
speaking of unexpected looks, not to take us back, but the mayor totally does not look like the Powerpuff Girls mayor in the least.
Yeah. Well, I don't even remember what that species is called with the side mouth and the snake head. I don't even know what to call it.
Who knows, man? But you just need to know that when you're watching Star Wars, especially Star Wars that takes place on these sort of underground planets like Tatooine, you're
The
gonna get some
Outer Rim.
weird, yeah, some weird looking things, man.
Some George Lucas fever dream shit.
Yeah, no doubt. There's also that brief spot where Boba walks off on his own and says he's
Mm-hmm.
going to stop the train, and that's when he pops up to get those speeders. Do you know where he is?
No. Where is he?
He's at the Tashi station. Get some power converters.
No, is he actually at the Tashi station? How do you
Yeah.
know?
I
How do
looked
you
it
know?
up. I looked it up.
I'm so glad that you did, because if you hadn't, and so the Tashi station is like a bar and grill also.
Apparently.
It's just like a weird desert hangout.
Apparently. And the man and the woman in there that were getting
Yeah.
bullied by those guys, not these exact actors, but those characters were in a deleted scene from A New Hope that had interacted with Luke and Uncle Owen.
Huh. That's
Yeah,
wild.
it's pretty
That's
cool.
super
Yeah,
crazy.
so super
Huh.
cool Easter egg that,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll have to
again,
Google that. That's really interesting.
yeah, so that's the cool thing about doing this Tatooine and like post Empire era is that, yeah,
Hmm.
you can kind of do fun little things like that and show us stuff that has just been alluded to or barely seen
Yeah.
in prior Star Wars content.
What's really great about having this post Empire too is that there's like, I mean, when they have these scenes in the city streets, there are no there's no rules. There's
Yeah,
no like there's no law. Like there everyone's walking around in armor, armed. Like
yeah,
it's really interesting to see, like, this mayor is paying the crime lord, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just a
yeah.
different it's a very um foreign concept to someone like me and you.
Sure, yeah. The attention to detail that they've done to, yeah, really make this a gritty, grimy sort of show where it's just like it's Wild West. You've got people just showing up, taking over as crime lords. You've got old crime lords. You've got corrupt mayors. You got this lady running a cantina. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. It's just bananas going on right now.
Yeah. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? I feel like there was one thing that I forgot to put in my notes. Where were we?
We were just
Take
kind
us
of
back.
talking about
Well,
the Tuscan stuff, and so they had that whole ritual where Boba goes off, gets a
yes,
branch, comes
yes.
back. Um, they've taken him in as one of them, man. What do you think about that?
Uh, Unexpected. I really,
Yeah,
I mean, he helped. He's the White Knight. I mean, he is
yeah,
everything that these people need, and I love that they're accepting him, even though he's different. I mean, he's not a Tuscan. He's just a guy that they found in the desert with nothing, and he's
yeah,
helping them solve all of their problems.
yeah. I mean,
I'm
you talk.
wondering. I'm wondering
Oh,
if the Tuscans are going to come back in the present day timeline. I wonder if he's going to have some sort of dealing where he needs an army behind him, and the Tuscans are it.
I almost expect it just because it's all still on Tatooine, right?
Yeah.
And so it just kind of makes, especially if the Hutts get involved. You got this bounty hunter BK in there. Who knows who else the Hutts are going to hire or bring in? And we also have apparently we have this Order of the Night Wind sort of kicking around. Like who knows what's going to happen with that?
Yeah, I almost feel like that's a not a throwaway, but like we had to name this type of assassin. I
Probably.
don't expect any more of them. If there is,
Oh,
I won't
sure.
be disappointed. But I do feel like they were just kind of naming that for a little more world building. You know what I mean?
You think? Yeah, potentially. I think that's probably it. But it also seems like they made a point to have like six of them, and then they mentioned them a few times. I feel like, and they they,
Mm-hmm.
they gave a little bit of like I don't want to say backstory, but more than just
No,
a
I know what you
throwaway
mean.
name. So you're probably right. We probably won't see them in like a major role, but I could see them getting hired again. And if they do, the Tuscans would be a perfect. That would be the perfect place to bring the Tuscan Raiders
Yeah,
back. So
yeah, you're right. So where did this episode ended with them just kind of celebrating their victory, right? I mean, they
they're
didn't do a whole
cooling,
lot else
man.
after
They're
that. Yeah.
chilling around the fire, dancing like they're lighting up
Roll
the barbecue.
credits.
Yeah, they're cooling out, man. Yeah, yeah, man. Well, that was really cool. I like the whole crafting of that. I think it's the Gaddafi staff or Gaddafi stick.
Hmm.
Just the crafting of it, just seeing how that's made and how he's actually in there doing it
Hmm.
himself makes it a bit more personal. They didn't just here you go, here's a thing. It's like he made it like a
Yeah,
lightsaber
it's a
almost.
little Jedi. Yeah, a
A little
Jedi
Jedi, yeah.
creating his own lightsaber. Yeah,
Yeah, very well done. Good touch.
it's a very important stick.
Yes, it is. A very important stick. Um, so we have seen the Pikes in the past.
Are
Most
these the
recently,
Pikes from the
Bad
the tiny
Batch.
little rain? The what was it, a 1 or 2 episode arc
It was
of
that
that?
one episode,
Was it
that
just
Roland
one
Durand throwaway episode.
with the weird horn guy that got his horn cut off at
Yeah,
the end?
that guy.
Wow. I
That's
did
the
not
Pike
think we'd be
Syndicate.
talking about them again.
I
Wow, that's
didn't
wild.
either. That random throwaway episode.
Was
I don't think
that
there's
was
any
on
tie-in.
Tatooine, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't remember. I kind of blocked that whole show out.
Where is boy, oh man, I'm not gonna know her name, and that's embarrassing.
Omega,
The no,
Hera.
the one that was no, the one that was giving him missions.
Oh,
They were kind of
Sid.
operating at Sid. Yes, was Sid's bar? Was that in Tatooine?
I don't think so. I don't. I
Okay,
don't. I don't think so. I don't think it was
okay.
like a sand planet. I
I
think
don't
it was just
remember.
a.
No, it couldn't have been because it was more. There was more city there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it wasn't Tatooine, but
Okay,
I definitely didn't expect to be talking about the Pike Syndicate
the
again.
Pike Syndicate. That's so wild.
I do think that we will see them again because like what else would you do with that Tuscan Raider backstory? Like that
Right.
can't be the last we see of that. So what else do you kind of expect from that side of the show?
So I mean, you've got you. That's the conflict that you have brewing between two factions in the past timeline, right? Now you've got
Yeah.
the Pike Syndicate versus the Tuscan Raiders.
Yeah.
I guess if we're building up to some sort of like faction brawl or whatever tribe war in the past, that I mean, it's looking like that for the past. I'm more focused on the present day
Sure.
as far as like gang violence goes, as far as gang related activity goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I'm so much more curious about the present day stuff, but more entertained by the past stuff.
That is a really, really good way to put it. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, it just feels like the present day stuff is just it's such a unknown and they're very careful with what they're giving us. It feels like we're in for a big surprise almost.
And it's interesting and it's
It
good.
is. Yes. But it's also
But the
like give us something else. The
yeah, but
work
the
all the
past
meat.
the go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like the past timeline is everything I know that everything I didn't know that I wanted about this show. is before this show even takes place.
That's where the meat and potatoes of the show has been so far, is in the past. That's where your fried chicken's at, man. It's where the barbecue
Right.
sauce is. It's where it's the
Yeah.
main course. Whereas we're
Give
just
me
getting
the
a little bit of
sauce.
yeah, man, we're just getting a little amuse bouche on the present day stuff, a little appetizer. Give me the lobster on the present day stuff. Give me some steak.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we'll get there. I feel like we'll get there. I trust it, you know?
I do trust it as well. I think that Star Wars is very hit or miss. You know, as much as we both love it, you just don't really know. But given this format, the
Hmm.
Disney Plus show, and who's in charge of that, Favreau, Filoni, I trust what they're going to do with it, and I feel like it may not be this groundbreaking thing. It may not be quite as good as some of the Marvel shows, but I do feel like it will be satisfying when we get to that last episode and everything has unfolded and we're kind of like, all right, it's over. How do we feel? I'm sure we're gonna be like, man, that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Here's hoping for a really climactic ending. I really think that this show has what it takes
Mhm.
to have something really big and exciting at the end. So we'll see. Seven
We shall.
episodes, right? Is that what we?
7
Yeah.
episodes, 5 left, and so far so good. The first episode was fine, good, but not anything. It was a lot like the first episode of Mandalorian. I felt like, where it held my attention and it built a little bit of intrigue. And this episode really came through and it said, okay, I'm good. And I feel like episode 3 will sort of blow it up a little bit to add a
Hmm.
little bit more. And
We need a good cliffhanger. I think
yeah,
something to get us talking next week. You know.
we need a cliffhanger, and we need like just a nugget of info, just a little something to say, okay, what's going on over here, and
Yeah.
once we do that, I think we're off to the races.
Yep. I think so too.
Cool.
Well, man, you wanna call it? You wanna call this one?
Let's go home. All right,
Let's do
folks.
it.
Well, we always appreciate you for tuning in and spending a little bit of time with you boys. It means a lot. So
Yeah.
if you want to support the podcast, the best way to do so is to tell your friends, let them know what we're doing over here. Share a link or two if you could. If you want to follow along with us on social media, the links are in the show notes below. If you're on the YouTube, make sure to leave a like and a comment, subscribe for more awesome content. And until next time, folks, keep on keeping on.
All right. We'll catch you later.